Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lindsay Renee. I'm a psychic medium. If you're interested at all in booking, link is below. But today we're gonna get started with something different to start us out. We're actually gonna be doing a rune reading in this very specific way. Now, I think I've seen somebody else do this, or maybe I got the idea myself, whatever. But I have this little wheel, and this is representing like the 12 astrological houses. And I have this little thing. And I'm going to be shuffling these runes, and we're going to drop it in and see what runes lands in a different house so I can get kind of like an overview of your energy. So what is going on with this collective, with this viewer? A lot. Okay, so I'm only going to take the ones that like flipped over fully. And this is interesting. So we have a lot that are like right at the like lines in between the houses. Like, you may be feeling like things are very black and white, or maybe you're dealing with like a lot of things have to be this way or that way, or maybe you used to think that way, but now you're kind of coming to like holding two things at once is true, like paradox. So I see Othala in the third house. I see Thursdays in between 5 and 6. I see Gabo, and I'll explain what all this means, but Gabo at 6. Awaz at 6, between 6 and 7. Naudis at 8. And Sowilo in between 10 and 9. So I'm going to start, and there's also a blank rune also in between 2 and 3. So I'm actually going to start with the blank rune because there's something about like new beginnings in transition. Like there's something about you being in this like transition period between like where you're at, what you're familiar with, what you've always kind of surrounded yourself with versus like your self-worth. So there's something coming through about like feeling like maybe you've outgrown where you live or the people around you, or you know, with Othala here in the third house, this could be family members, or like feeling like a black sheep or something. But there's something about like you creating this new beginning for yourself with regards to like how you view yourself and what you view your worth. So big message about self-worth here. Now with Thursdays in between 5 and 6, there's something about work play balance. So 6th house is work, 5th house is like play, pleasure, joy. Now Thursdays is very much a force, like something that's like cut and dry, or like you may really be struggling to find like this work play balance, or you may feel like, you know, I have to pick a side. Like there's something about like, again, like I said, with all these things like right being at these middle points, there's something big about like transition for you and like transformation. And I just keep feeling that coming up very strongly now with Gabo in the 6th house. So 6th house again, work, routines, daily routines, like your how you serve the world, what you bring to the world. There's something about your gifts here, like your inherent gifts are something that like either you feel called to maybe make a living like using your gifts in some way, or there's something about the way what you have to offer the world really being valuable. And there's something also with that self-value, like those two things being very related, where it's like that could even cause, you know, kind of internal struggle where it's like, I have these gifts, I have these talents, you know, maybe you are showing them to the world already, but it's like, is that all I'm worth? Or, you know, maybe that's really somehow linked with your sense of self-worth. And maybe that's something you are like exploring. And okay, so with Awaz in between 6 and 7, there's something also about, now Awaz has to do with like protection and can be very spiritual rune. There's something about maybe I'm hearing like a spiritual partnership, or like a business partnership that is like led by fate or something. So this could be something coming in if it's not already in your life. Now I'm going to go next to Naudis in the 8th house. Now, the 8th house is, it's the house of like death, letting go of things. You know, it depends on how you view these kind of things in astrology, whether more psychological or literal. But like Naudis is a rune meaning stop. Like there's something not moving, or it can also be like needing to get more inward with yourself. Now I'm saying that also because on the board it landed very close to the center as well. So there's something about like going into like the heart of you, or like doing a lot of shadow work is what I'm getting, or like something, maybe something's not moving in your life, or maybe during this transition in life you've really felt like, you know, hitting like a wall or hitting some kind of point of resistance. Now this could be resistance within yourself, like mental resistance, or this could be maybe things not moving in the literal world, maybe not feeling like you have the resources you need to do what you want, because 8th house can also be other people's resources. So maybe you feel like you aren't being paid enough, or maybe you feel like, you know, there's some kind of need that's like not being maybe met by the outside world, that maybe you're being called to really go within and meet that need for yourself within yourself. And I'm also getting something with like that process of like finding that within yourself is going to like open things up, like things are going to move in some way. And now we also have Sawilo in between 9 and 10. So there's something also, I'm getting a big message, like with all these, there is like this certain type of spiritual element that keeps coming up. If you have some kind of like spiritual business you're doing, or like some kind of, now it doesn't have to be literal like you're a psychic or like a tarot reader or anything like that. It could just be like maybe you even work in healthcare, and like the way you work with your patients is like very healing or something. But there's something about like a spotlight, or like some kind of something, like whatever this is, this gift is that you give to the world, this gift that like is something about like spirit led, or like, you know, there's something about that being like spotlighted now, or is about to be spotlighted. Because with the 10th house, we're talking about like public recognition. Like this is how the people see you. And 9th house has to do a lot with spirituality. This can also have to do with teaching and travel. So now I want to say also with travel, because I'm like looking at this, there's not a lot of like travel type of runes, but there is that when I say that nowadays, that stop rune, where it's like that resistance. So maybe you like are really wanting to expand your horizons in some way, whether this is literally like travel, or learning a new skill, or exploring more of your spirituality or something. And maybe that's where that resistance is coming in. So again, this is like something about what you have to offer is like moving things forward. And now I didn't expect this to get all like 7 minutes in already. So I'm going to like do a little bit of tarot to get a little more details. And then we're probably not going to go too long in this video. Man, Mercury retrograde is fucking me up. Not just with the talking, man. Somebody said this Mercury retrograde has a gun, and I feel like I agree. Okay, so we have the Fool coming out. All right, so what else do we got here? The Wheel of Fortune. Now this is, I'm getting chills also. So this is definitely linking in with that rune reading, where I was like, something's going to open up, and that's that Wheel of Fortune, something moving forward. Ooh, I don't know if you see how that jumped out. 8 of Cups reverse, definitely talking about going inward, like something about the inward journey. And I'm getting like inward journey versus outward journey. Something like, again, feeling that resistance coming up, where it's like, it's something like you can't go on this outward journey, or this whatever outside of you is not able to move until you like go inward. So there's definitely a call to like do some of that work. Knight of Wands reverse. What did I just say? So Knight of Wands is always this travel card. You see how there's like the pyramids in the background. He's like, you know, traveling on this horse, and it being reversed is that kind of like, that like something's not moving. Something's not, it may be causing a lot of tension inside of you, like restlessness is what I'm hearing. All right. 7 of Swords. Knight of Swords reverse. That restlessness. There's something about almost like this inward, this call to go inward. You may even be resisting the call to go inward. You may even be like, I don't want to sit down and meditate. I want to go out. I want to do this. And there's something about like, I'm feeling like you just can't force your way out of this energy for some reason. What is the 7 of Swords? Knight of Pentacles. And one more for that, please. The sun reversed. Okay. I'll notice there's a lot of yellow in this card. So there's something about the solar plexus. There's something about... Now, with the Seven of Swords, usually everyone reads this as betrayal, but sometimes I'm getting something about, like, your inner resources or managing your energy in a way. Maybe even managing your thoughts. So, like, maybe is that kind of that restless energy where it's like they're giving you the vision of just, like, someone going, ah, just, like, fucking pissed. Like, that they're, like, almost like in a cage or, like, restrained in some way where it's, like, maybe you are feeling these kind of restraints manifest in some way where it's, like, okay, now hold on. Because, like, when you're, like, forcing at these restraints or something, it's something about, like, it cutting into your wrist and, like, causing you this kind of internal damage. And there's something also, they're giving me a vision of, like, a car with the brake and the gas pressed at the same time where it's, like, it's not going anywhere, but it's still creating a lot of friction internally to where that friction is really kind of damaging the internal structure. Now, this is like a metaphor for you internally. So there's something about, like, okay, well, then how do we maybe even redirect that energy? Maybe even, like, zoom out and see the long-term part of this. You know, see how maybe these thoughts, this energy, there's something about, like, harnessing that energy in a way where, in a more productive use, because otherwise it's just like you're doing some kind of self-sabotage. And that sun reverse, again, that bringing that maybe some optimism and hope to the situation. Oh, I dropped it. But with the Knight of Pentacles, again, that's that energy of moving forward. So I'm also getting something with, like, you know, the car with the gas and the brake. It's like maybe it's even moving like a millimeter, you know, forward, but you can't see it. You just feel that, like, you see all the smoke coming out and you feel the heat and you hear the squeal of the tires, but it's like, okay, you know, there's a better way to handle this situation. Queen of Wands. There's something about you recognizing yourself. And now, again, I'm hitting this, like, sense of resistance. And it was also, well, it didn't say it actually, but when I looked up, it was 133. So there's something about 333 maybe significant. That's always wild when I see things that aren't actually there. But Queen of Wands and Temperance. So yeah, there's something definitely about getting into more of a, here, like, regulating your nervous system. Now, I'm also seeing the 10 of Cups at the bottom here. So with the 10 of Cups, there could be something about, okay, in order to maybe satiate this kind of restlessness, adding some kind of, like diversity, like some different color into your life in some way. Now, this could be, hey, I haven't listened to this artist's new album yet. Let me listen to some new music. Let me switch up my routine. There's something about, like, just doing things a little bit different. And there's a lot of, like, Uranus transits. Uranus is very heavy in the astrology right now. So that could also be, like, you know, harness that energy of just, like, doing little things differently, because there's something about, like, they're giving me, like, almost like a Tetris puzzle of, like, okay, well, this fell and it didn't fit into there. This didn't fit there. Like, things like slotting into place is what they're giving me. Where it's like, okay, I made this little tweak here and made this little tweak here, but maybe I don't necessarily see how they all come together in this, like, now they're bringing me back to the rainbow here, like, all these little different, it's like shifting the hues of your life, shifting the texture, the pattern of, like, what you're experiencing on the day-to-day is really going to, like, again, slot together in this way that, like, you can't even see how all these little changes are going to add up. But there's something about that, all that adding up and really dramatically shifting your energy, shifting that, like, the roads opening in that kind of way where it's like, there are going to be so many metaphors. Like when a key goes into a lock and it clicks all those certain little clicks in the door actually, and then it opens. So literally an opening. I'm also hearing Hecate. You may work with Hecate. She just came through with that key symbolism as well. So there's something definitely that inner work, that going into the depths, going into the dark, and almost like, yeah, she's giving you the torchbearer. You that torch. Well, okay, slow down. A lot coming through. That torch is like your hope, your optimism. I don't know if I already put it away, but it was the sun. I think it fell. That sun, that optimism, that like you being your own light as you delve into the depths of like your soul, like your unconscious, and like sifting through things and like unlocking all these doors and keys. So this, I mean, this sounds all grand and great, but it's like, okay, so how do we actually implement that? I'm gonna ask first before I give my opinions. Okay, there's something about, yes, no, I wanted to hear like, yes, it does involve sitting and crying a lot. And that could be, you know, that resistance, like I said, you know, where it was like, I don't want to sit down and meditate. I just want to go. I just want to, and it's like, it is plainly put, like kind of in a way, avoiding that shadow where it's like, I feel like you're really being called to kind of delve into that shadow within yourself. And this doesn't necessarily, I mean, well, let me cut that thought off right there. It can involve looking at the parts of you that you don't like, that you don't agree with, the little things all those kinds of things, but there's something about that torch, that light, being like the compassion you show yourself, you show these shadow parts, you know, illuminating those shadows and going, okay, I see you, I love you. And then, you know, going from there. So let me pull one, wrap it up. Definitely stuff about the past, maybe. Childhood stuff, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, sometimes when I do these readings, it's like I can feel you talking on the other side. Of just like this resistance coming up again. But I mean, yeah, I was going to say it's like that, or, I mean, you're being given the choice. It's do that kind of inner work or this. This is what the internal is going to be until you do that kind of work. And this behavior, you know, it can manifest outward. It can manifest in people picking fights with you picking fights with people, just like chaos energy in all areas of your life, because, you know, our internal world directly, you know, it reflects on the outside. So and you may not even be conscious of that, you know, it could be just really deep unconscious shit that, you know,